Now, training and execution of training. You might have heard at some point that nutrition is more important than your training, and I'm here to tell you that it's not. We want to make sure, especially if your goal is fat loss or muscle building, that when you're doing training that you're executing with 100% efficiency. What does that mean? It means that you are feeling that muscle contract. If you're working whatever muscle that you're working, you want to feel it squeeze and you want to feel it stretch. That is so important, so imperative, because if you're just going through a motion and you don't feel a muscle working, then that means that you're not getting the maximum return on your time. So when it comes to the exercises that I've chosen for you in your workout program, it's important, because I'm an online coach and I'm not going to be there with you every step of the way. It's important that you reach out to me and tell me which exercises you like and which ones you don't. And the reason for this, for the exercises that you like, it's very likely that you are feeling the exercise as you go through that you are really getting the return. And the exercises that you don't like, you're going through the motion and you just don't feel anything. Now, before we just discard that exercise, I want you to think about, maybe taking a video and sending it to me, and then we can actually address what needs to be changed in order to get the most return for that exercise. And in a worst case scenario, we just drop the exercise and change it for something else altogether. But similar to a bike, you didn't just jump on a two-wheel bike and just shoot down the street. When you're doing an exercise, maybe an exercise for the first time, you may not necessarily have the connection to that muscle to be able to effectively squeeze it just yet. So it's important that we take at least a little bit of time, I would say up to a month, where we try to address changes and see if we can get that exercise to work with you, work for you, before we try to make any changes to the training specifically. It's important that we learn to master the basics before we do anything crazy. So at the beginning of your program, you're very likely going to be doing basic motions, basic movements, and you might say, oh, this is kind of boring. Progress is not boring. Okay, so you want to make sure that we are setting up that foundation so that we can create the progress momentum to catapult you towards your goals in the future. Now, if you have any other questions, again, about your training program, about the exercise selection, please reach out to me. And again, within 24 to 48 hours, I will make sure to have those questions answered.